Hey, how's it going? It's Politics with Laura, and I got a good one for you today. Now, before I get into this, I got new glasses. However, I have buyer's remorse. Now, I need the glasses, yes, but the frames. Those of you who wear glasses know how hard it is to pick out a new pair of glasses. You got to put your old glasses over your new glasses and see how you would look. But it's kind of hard to see how you would look because you can't really see the new glasses because they're underneath your old glasses. So this is what I got. Okay, I'm done complaining. Now, China has a stronghold in the US. Now, it feels okay. This is bittersweet. I feel great because everything that I have been saying has been vindicated. Yes, made right. Ugh. I've been saying that the Democrats and and Biden has been selling out the U.S. and I can start to prove it. I can prove it now, and I'm going to prove it. Now, it may seem something very small to you, but however, if you look in the greater scheme of things, you would see how big it is. Because if you go back over my old videos, especially in Africa, you would see that what they're doing there, they're doing here. You can't make this stuff up, but it is what it is. I have been saying that China has been slowly taking over the world. And you're like, Laura, really? China? Yes, China. Now, people who only think that war is with weaponry. No, there are several different types of wars. And some of the worst wars have nothing to do with shedding blood. It has to do with everything by crippling your opponent from within. Yes, I sound a little melodramatic. Yes, I know I do. However, it doesn't take away the fact that it's true. All right. All right. Let me revisit Venezuela. Now, China has been backing digital authoritarianism in Latin America. Now, I must say, I have been a little hard on immigration. I have been a little hard on people from Venezuela. Yes, I have. But however, I have been because sometimes you just have to fight for your country. That's it. You got to fight. And you don't pick up and run to another country. And every time, whenever you pick up and run to another country, eventually it's going to get to where you are and you have no choice but to fight. I say stand your ground where you're at. That's it. But outside of that, let's get to this article. Okay, here. Okay. Chinese technology and expertise is making it possible for Venezuelans and Cubans to exercise suffocating control over digital communication in the two countries, according to inside accounts in several international investigations. Venezuela and Cuba do more to block internet access than any other government in Latin America, according to the US based advocacy group Freedom House, which has documented what is described as digital authoritarianism in the region since 2018. Now, participated between 2002 and 2008 in delegations sent by the former president Hugo Chavez to China to learn how Beijing uses software to identify Chinese citizens and to implement a similar system in Venezuela. So back at that time, Hugo Chavez said something brilliant. He was the one who said, is George Bush Jr., is he as dumb as he looks? Oh man. Oh wow. I remember laughing at that. Oh my goodness, I remember laughing. It wasn't nice, but it was funny the way he said it. Shortly after, he died of some mysterious cancer that came out of nowhere. Mm. Said China's role in recent years has been to provide technology assistance to help the Venezuelan government process large amounts of data and monitor people whom the government considers enemies of the state. Now, I often wondered, what was China doing down there? And now I have a better understanding, because now that China's in the United States, the United States has been so far ahead technologically, that it's like, how would China, how would the United States benefit from China coming in and helping us with technology when the United States went to China to assist them with technology? So it's a little, you know, but let me go back to the article real quick, because I'm going to get to the other one. And the other one is eye opening. And it's going to make you say, hmm, all right, okay. They have television camera systems, fingerprints, facial recognition, algorithm system for the uh, internet and conversations, he said. Now that right there, and what they're talking about simply is that they're saying that Venezuela now has control, the Venezuelan government has control over Venezuelans, and they don't like the crackdown. Okay. Now you got to stop and think. Why would the government want to crack down like that on its people? What is going on in Venezuela to make the government do that? Now, some of you may say, well, the government is corrupt. Okay. We have to stop saying that. We really do. We have to start saying, why is the government taking the drastic steps that they are taking in order to get people to act lawfully? I think that would be a better statement to make. Because if you have lawful citizens, then you would not need for a crackdown like that, because the government would not have to constantly find ways to keep people stop doing crimes. Now, I'm not saying that Venezuelans are criminals. No. Do you have a criminal element? Yes. Every country has a criminal element. There's always someone dumb doing something stupid. So, having said that, that's what's going on here. But Venezuela is a huge country, and there are people scattered all over the place. And I'm not even talking about the indigenous population. We're not even talking about them, but just talking about how can I say, this is going to sound terrible, modernized Venezuelans. And that's quite interesting, because China and Russia is there. Now, alrighty. The FBI arrests 2 on charges tied to Chinese outpost in New York City. Now, I knew it was going to be a matter of time until it came here. Now, the US government is possibly saying, why did we go into China and to help it have its industrial revolution? it's only coming back to bite us. The student is trying to supersede the teacher. That's what's going on. But let's take a look. It gets very interesting. All right, here. Everything happens in New York. Okay, New York City. Two men were arrested Monday on charges that they helped establish a secret police station in New York City on behalf of the Chinese government. And about 3 dozen officers with Chinese National Police Force were charged with using social media to harass dissidents inside the United States, authorities said. Now, this is very interesting. About 3 dozen officers with Chinese National Police Force were charged with using social media to harass dissidents. So that's interesting. Very interesting. So then you got, well, before I say that, let me go a little further down before I can make the statement that I want to make. The cases were, the cases are a part of a series of Justice Department prosecutions in recent years aimed in disrupting Chinese government efforts to locate in America pro-democracy activities and others who are openly critical of Beijing, the police officers' policies, and to suppress their speech. Interesting. One of the 3 cases announced Monday concerning a local branch of Chinese Ministry of Public Security that had operated inside the building in Manhattan's Chinatown, neighborhood before closing last fall amid of the FBI investigation. The 2 men who were arrested were acting under direction and control of the Chinese government officials and deleted communications with all of the officials from their phones after learning the FBI's probe in an apparent effort to obstruct the inquiry, according to the Justice Department. Wow. So that's a small little microcosm. So it leads me to believe, how deep is this? Because every state that you go to in big cities, you have always have a Chinatown. Now it will stop, and then you would have to stop and think, how many people that come here from China, how many of them are sleeper cells? How many of them are spies? How many of, it is now looking at it now and look at what's going on, you got to say, well, how many of them are really truly American citizens who are naturalized citizens, and how many of them are really spies working for the Chinese government, but were allowed to live? You know, you could go in so many different avenues on this one, so many different avenues, but I'm trying to get to something very specific. All right. Okay, the men identified as Harry Lu Wang, 61, of Bronx, and Chen Jinping, 59, of Manhattan, both U.S. citizens, were arrested in their homes on Monday morning. The lawyer for Lu declined to comment. An email message seeking comment was left with the lawyer for Chen. Um, at no point did the men register with the Department of Justice as an agent of foreign governments. The U.S. law enforcement agents or officials said, and though the secret police station did not perform some basic services such as helping Chinese citizens renew their Chinese driver's license, it also served as a more sinister function, including helping the Chinese government locate pro-democracy activists of Chinese dissidents living in California. Officials say, whoa, now it's reaching out to California. The New York police, or the New York City is home to New York City's finest NYPD, said the U.S. Attorney Breon Peace. The top federal prosecutor in Brooklyn, whose official brought the case. We do not need nor want a secret police station in our city. Wow. If you look into South Africa, that's exactly what China did. China started opening up police stations, and they just did it up front because China gave South Africa, also gave Kenya, Nigeria, Cameroon, Somalia, Ethiopia. China is all over the world. China has more than 2 billion people. Even if they were to let go 500 million, which is a lot of people, you could spread them all over the world. Now, if I had over 2 billion people and I wanted to spread some of the people around, what would I do? Me, per se, what I would do is I would let the people that have bad behavior and kick them out. That's what I would do. I would kick them out and let them be someone else's problem. Well, of course, as what China does, they bring their own police station as well. I mean, just my thought. Just a thought. Um, Now, okay, identify, intimidate, and silence dissidents in the U.S. A signature case concerning China was announced in 2020. Interesting. This one Joe Biden won. When the Justice Department charged more than a half dozen people working on behalf of the Chinese government in a pressure campaign aimed at coercing a New Jersey man wanted by Beijing into returning to China to face charges. In January, the Justice Department, oh, wow, that's interesting. Justice Department charged 3 men in an alleged plot that originated in Iran to kill an Iranian American author and activist who spoke out against human rights. This is very interesting. As the authoritarian government, where the PRN, Russia, Iran, and others became more brazen in their efforts to tamper with the rights and liberties that are the bedrock of our democracy. The United States is not a freaking democracy. It is a republic. Now, due to the delineation of powers, you can get democracy through Congress. This country is being taken over and no one cares. Okay. Okay, the bedrock of our democracy, the Department of Justice will redouble its efforts to defend our democracy, our democratic institutions, and our sovereignty. Newman said using the acronym the People's Republic of China. Okay. In a separate scheme announced Monday, the Justice Department charged 34 officers in the Ministry of Public Security with creating and using thousands of fake social media accounts on Twitter and other platforms to harass dissidents abroad. Quite interesting. The prosecutors say that the defendants of all part of the specialized task force that works out of the police station or police facilities in Beijing who use social media to spread Chinese government propaganda in subject including racial harassment or racial justice projects. In the US, Russia's war against Ukraine and human rights issued in Hong Kong, or human rights issues in Hong Kong. Okay. All of the defendants remain at large and believed to be living in China. This is really something. So, all right, this is quite interesting. So, China is opening up secret police stations to go find the people who committed crimes and runs to the US. So, it makes you stop and think. INS or immigration, what are you doing? You're letting people in who committed crimes over in other countries and allowing them here. So apparently, you're not doing a thorough check. I'm not saying they're bad people. What I'm saying is that China's going through great efforts to find people who commit crimes in other countries. This is something, but it only goes back to what I was saying in my other videos. Joe Biden, you sold us out. AOC, you sold us out. Liberal, ultra liberal, um, ultra liberal politicians, you're selling the United States out. You can't do that. You said you're going to uphold the Constitution. You swore to it on the Bible, unless if you had your fingers turned like this, and whenever you walk into a church, it burns down. On that note, what do you think?